athlete transition,
Right.
and what that means for different people.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to identity and like what they're going to do next, you fit the mold, and we wanted to discuss that. So it's an important topic for me because it's something that I personally went through. So I would love to know, to start, why it's important to you.
So I would always say that, like, there's like chapters in your lifetime. I don't ever feel like you are one person. I do believe that you grow and you become different characters through the years. I think you are more, when you're learning, you're growing, and then you're a different person. Like what I learned even last night at the Maple Leafs game, I woke up this morning with a different motivation because of who I was influenced yesterday. So I think I laugh when people do ask me, like, what's your identity? And it's like, well, today, maybe when I was on the podium, I'm an Olympic medalist. But the next day, I'm someone different. And I think if we stick too much towards one character or one identity, then you limit yourself. And I've never loved limits. Obviously, I jump over bars for a living.
Yeah.
So I think the best thing for me is, how can I grow every single day? And I always want to be in these rooms where I'm the dumbest. I want to learn. I'm a learning character, and it grows and it just evolves so that I can be my best version of myself every day.
Okay, with that being said, what's your identity today and right now?
Today, I feel like it's a fun day. So I feel like a little more calm, a little more relaxed. I feel like I'm excited to meet new people. I'm excited to share my journey. So I feel a little bit more like a motivator today. Okay. I feel like I get to share my story with you guys and your audience. And hopefully one thing or two things I say today resonates with somebody, and then it opens a door or an idea for them.
I'm sure it will.
I hope so.
How much of your identity is tied to being an athlete?
I think people have to categorize athletes or your industry you work in to kind of put you in a place. I would say, so for me, a lot of people, obviously, it was my third Olympics where I got my medal. So I kind of did it backwards. Okay. Like, I talked about this with Penny Alexiak all the time. She came out, she won her 5 medals, and then after, she's now figuring out who she is. Where for me, I was hustling, not making
trenches,
it. Yeah, I'm like, gosh, I just need this medal, And I was like, you know what? A medal's not going to identify who I am as an athlete. It's not going to be my value. So I want to do what makes me happy every single day. And I think me living and building a brand of what I enjoy, which is being the best person you can possibly be to anyone you meet, doesn't matter what day it was. So when people ask me this question, I kind of did it opposite. I felt like my identity was more social media, an influencer through the first 2 Olympics. And then now it's more identified as an athlete because you have this hardware for your hard work. Yeah. So it's hard for me to like say that I'm just an athlete, because I think I came from realizing, 2012 was my first Instagram post. Really? And I remember at University of Miami, I'll never forget this. I got called into the compliance room, and I had gone on a trip with my family, and I was doing just a workout, and I was like, I love my Fitbit. And they called me the next week I got back. They're like, you can't promote things on Instagram. And this was 2013. And I started laughing. I said, what do you mean? This is the most awesome Fitbit in the world. It tracks my steps. It tracks my calories. And they're like, yes, but you're promoting. You can't do that when you're an NCAA athlete. So full circle, 12 years later. NIL's happening. And so I think, I always say, I feel like I get lucky. I do things obliviously, and it works out for me. So I was opposite. I kind of saw the power of social media and sharing a journey, because people would meet me at meets. Even other pole vaulters would be like, Alysha, you posted that jump. How do you get that arm there? Or how do you put your last step down fast? And then I can tell them. And it's so fun that I can use my knowledge and wisdom to help someone get clarity. And so that's kind of I guess I don't really ever feel like I'm an athlete. I think everyone has so much different inner strengths that can't be really identified as one thing.
You've said so much. I have so
I'm
many
sorry.
No, please. That's great. I have so many other questions.
Yeah.
Hopefully Fitbit paid you on some back pay.
No, but they should.
They should. Yeah, I agree. Speaking of being an athlete, I think one of the things so I've been following you for the past 2 months. Amazing. Since I met Vaughn, basically.
Yeah.
And you're everywhere. Like you're at F1, you're at soccer games, you are using your platform as an athlete to now essentially garnish attention and make money from it, I'm assuming, and be, you know, an influencer as you want to call that. How do you manage that in terms of being like a pole vaulter? And for athletes that are less visible than you, what is your advice to those people? Like how to build a brand?
Yeah, so I think the first thing you have to do is be, I always say, like, unapologetically yourself. If you try to be another person or you try to like people see right through that. Like you have to be organic. And I think that that's what's been really fun for me. I've been so vulnerable in the media where it's gone against me, but it's also gone for me because people like to relate to me because I'm so open and honest. So I would say, like, when people are building a brand, you have to really find we call them like categories, you know, like what's important for you. So I say, okay, well, you have a career, you have I say like love, because love, I think, cures everything. Love is way more moving than any money you'll ever make. That feeling that's free and just makes your heart and your veins pump. Like, love is just the ultimate best. And then I also have, like, what's a passion? Like, that money's not gonna bring you. That's not gonna give you those adrenaline, those endorphins. You know, it's this natural kind of love. It gives you that sense of purpose of why you're living. And once you figure out those categories, you kind of stick to those. And once you figure that out, then, like, your paths are so clear, and you realize you work with brands that actually have the same vision as you. Because again, we could sit here and we could talk about, oh, I want to work with X, Y, and Z, but if they don't align and it's not like people that actually want to see you be great, then it's forced. But I do believe when you're going through, for example, me winning a medal, you gotta get the bag. You have no choice.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like really important that you capitalize on it, because what's right around the corner? Winter Olympics, and I'm gonna be irrelevant in a couple years, you know? So you have to really much take that time. And again, I was laughing, I was like, oh, I made it, I got it. And then nope, the work just started after I got off that podium. And it was like, how can I use my platform to drive myself, my purpose, and then also make some money? That's how you have to do it. You have to think about it like that.
How is your social media a reflection of what you just said in your mind?
It's
in terms
getting
of
better.
Love and passion and
yes. So I like I said, I think I came into social media where you just posted a lot of your, you know, greatest accolades and you sharing these moments. And so obviously the girls back there, we are working so hard now. We're going more vlog style based, and you'll see a lot more of that in 2025 to see more of my personality. I think maybe that's my weakness, is I haven't been able to show my true, like, day-to-day who I am, how I speak, what I'm passionate about every day, what, like, gets me out of bed. And I'm really excited moving forward, because it's not just going to be get this best picture or get this best outfit look. It's going to be like, you know, we are filming a documentary right now.
Nice. And
they were there, and I will never forget this. It was right before the Olympics, and my coach was getting a little anxious, and the cameras were there, and he, like, almost like moved the cameras out of the way, and we're yelling at each other. And I feel like it has opened a different side where I can show the world that I'm much more of a human and much more relatable to what I've already done. It becomes more, you know what I'm saying? It becomes more like we're in this together. It's not just your life. And I think that that's what this medal has done for me. This is awesome, but, like, you guys holding it and you're like, oh, it's heavy. Like, that's what has, like, given me so much joy over the last couple months.
I love that. You've had a lot of highs, like some really, you know, some really notable highs, and some low lows as well.
Yes,
and
very much so.
Talk about some of the physical challenges that you've overcome to continue pursuing in this. And you switched sports. You were a track athlete before you got into pole vaulting.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was a gymnast first, which when I was 12 years old, I just knew I wanted to be an Olympian, no matter what sport it was. And then I started on the track, and then the manager realized that I was a gymnast, and most ex-gymnasts end up going into pole vaulting because of the upside down and the flipping and the strength of body awareness. And so once I learned it took about 3 months. I broke my meet record the very first time that I ever pole vaulted, and I was like, oh, this is cool, like having that name, like Alysha Newman on there. I was like, I could get used to this. And so I just kept going from there. I broke the youth record in Canada, and then I broke the junior, and now I hold all records from ages 14 to my age 30 now. And it's been such a...
You hold every record from 14 to 30?
Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I asked this to my my high school coach. I said, how many records do I have? He goes, actually, in counting, you have 56 records worldwide.
God.
Whether it's a meet, whether it's something like that. So I think you, when you're talking about the physical aspect of it, like trying to stay in shape and getting through injuries and stuff.
I think you're good in that regard.
It's, oh my gosh, I think these injuries were teaching me, like, Alysha, slow down, stop pretending like you are already there, and let your body heal, let your body go through these injuries to then come back stronger. I mean, everyone would always tell me once I got stress fractures, your body actually comes back better than it did before the stress fractures. And so I would take a lot of that mantra of, you're injured, okay, now you're coming back stronger, because you're going to focus on something and you're just going to rehab that area, and then you're going to be mentally tougher, mentally stronger. But on top of that, you can't get angry until 12 things have gone wrong. So I think I'm at like 9 or 10 injuries. So I can't be angry yet. I can't retire yet until I'm at 13 injuries. 13?
I wish I had that rule.
Yeah.
After 3, I was done.
Yeah, right? And it's one of those things. It's like, how bad do you want it? And it was like, I would dream, like I would be in my bed at night, and this is like just waking up, and I would dream about hearing the national anthem. And I heard it for a month straight leading into my first gold medal at Commonwealth Games. And I was like, I said, this is a sign. So you just tunnel vision and you focus, and you're like, it's not a setback. It's just a redirection.
Yeah.
You have to adapt this injury. But don't worry, you're already mentally prepped. You're already there. You're ready to go.
Yeah, I have it tattooed on my hand.
I
Adaptation.
like that.
Yeah.
See,
I'm
maybe
a
I
big
need to get one.
believer in that. Yeah, yeah. It's not the strongest who survive, but the ones who remain most adaptable to change.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And that's how I got the medal. It wasn't physically because I was one of the best athletes in the world. It was because I was able to adapt every situation that happened to me leading into the Olympics. It was oh my God, that means it's happening.
Yeah.
I'm going to win this because everything's coming at me at once. I think 2 weeks before my basement flooded before I left for the Olympics.
Oh, wow.
I got sprayed by a skunk 3 days before I left with my dog.
I shouldn't laugh at that.
Like, no, you're allowed to laugh because I was dying laughing. I was like, give me more. I want more. And I think it gives me goosebumps thinking about it, because it's like people are so quick to say, why me?
Yeah.
And it's like,
why
no,
not?
this is you. This is what you're supposed to meant to do. And so when I stepped on that track in Paris, I knew one of the colors were mine, because I just felt the aura of the meet. My favorite color is purple. The way I was carrying myself, I gave all my family members a role of what they needed to do to make me succeed, and everyone followed it. And it was just a support that I've never felt, and an inner, you know that feeling when you got silver. You felt like that team probably was more connected than ever. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's
not quite to your level, but I don't have 56 records.
Yeah,
but
still,
something similar.
It
something,
doesn't
yeah,
matter. You know, you're going into a business meeting, you're going to something, and you know everyone's practiced. Everyone was ready for this meeting.
Yeah.
Everyone was ready to go.
Absolutely.
And I knew all I needed to do was execute. And that was the easiest part, was competing at the Olympics. The build-up, that was the hardest part.
Absolutely. Can you list off some of the other injuries you've had? I know you had brain surgery as well.
No, not brain surgery. Not brain surgery. It was more concussion, which I went to a neurologist in California, Dr. Amen.
Okay.
And he brain scanned me.
Brain scan, sorry.
Yes,
there we
yeah.
go.
No, you're good. And so it was really cool. So, well, it's not really cool, but it got to a point where I needed help that wasn't just going to a doctor and being diagnosed for my symptoms. I needed people to dig deeper. I said, there's no way that after a concussion, you're going to put me on antidepressants and expect it to go away.
Right.
And
this is all before the Olympics.
This was 2021, so before Tokyo, my second Olympics.
Okay.
I fell in a bathtub. I hit my head off of a faucet, and I got a concussion that day. And then the Olympics were that summer in August. But what we didn't know, and again, you go through these things, and now I'm an advocate for brain health.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of these, like,
amazing.
A life that I would have never thought I would be a part of. And so once I went through with the Team Canada doctors, they diagnosed the emotions. They didn't diagnose the actual injury. And they put me on antidepressors. My body was attacking the antidepressors. I broke out in hives. I was very emotional. And then when I got on another set of antidepressor, I became monotone. Someone could like have passed away in front of me. I wouldn't laugh. I wouldn't cry. Someone could have like said a funny joke. I wouldn't have said anything or nothing. And I was just like monotone. So right then and there, I was recognizing a character that like, that wasn't me. Yeah. And I felt like it was blocking. I felt like I would like Alysha was been put in a cage and then she couldn't like blemish, you know? So once we got off of that and then Tokyo went really bad, obviously I just ran through 3 times and I was like, get me out of Japan. I don't want to be here anymore. And I was like right there. I was like, I'd call my mom and I was like, because it was a COVID Olympics. So there was no family, no coaches, no one was there. And I said, I'm done. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. She goes, just get home. Just get home. And so with her picking me up at the airport, I slept in my mom and dad's bed for like 7 days straight. 2 weeks I spent there. And then finally she goes, we need to do something about this. And I was like, all right. Well, I used to date an NFL guy in 2017 to 2019. And I'd always talk to him about, should go see this guy. His name's Dr. Amen. And he talks about like concussions and eating the right foods, being on the right vitamin supplements to make sure that you're living and breathing your best brain health. Mm-hmm. So I had been following this Dr. Amen since 2017 because of that guy. And all of a sudden it just clued in. Like I think one of his Instagram posts came up and I DM'd them. And he, within like a week, he goes, yep, flew me down to California, got my brain scan. He goes, get off antidepressors, get off this, do this, do this. And now we're best friends. Like, that's amazing. 2.5 years later, I've never been so clear-minded. I've never been so motivated, so happy. Like, there is very little days that I dwell on negative days now. We still have bad days. You're still going to wake up. Yeah. Hell yeah, you're still going to have these days. But I cannot believe when I tore almost everything in my ankle 4 months before this Olympics, I didn't freak out. I was like, oh, nice. I tore everything. PRP here, here, here.
Nice.
Let's go. You know, it was such a weird, and everything I viewed from here, that like working with him to now, is glass is always full. Not half full, like falling over the glass. Yeah. And I think, again, everything happens for a reason. Without maybe dating that guy, I would have never followed Dr. Amen because I wanted to help his, you know, concussions and NFL is really heightened. And so I think that was the reason for that relationship, was to meet Dr. Amen through that. Amazing. So, I mean, I didn't really talk about all my injuries, but there was a lot.
No, it's all good. Yeah. I mean, that all led up to Paris, and then Paris, you win bronze. Yes. After you win bronze, you're over there, you're twerking.
Hell yeah.
Which was amazing. I told my sister I was going to do this. She's like, Alysha, I know that name. I said, that the girl who twerked? I was like, yeah, it's the girl who was twerking after she won. I love that. I watched a documentary. Mm-hmm. It's by Michael Phelps.
Okay.
It's called The Weight of Gold.
Yes.
And he talks about post-Olympic depression.
Yes.
So you're a rock star for 2 weeks.
Yes.
Everyone loves you. You're getting all the attention, the cameras. What's been your experience since that's been gone? Did you feel that, and or do you know other people who have as well?
I definitely know other athletes that have felt it. And again, I don't think I'm going to say their names just because I feel like that's their story to be told. Sure. But if I'm being completely honest, I haven't. Okay. I have not felt it. I think I had my time after my first 2 Olympics. Right. I think that was, again, I think I was going into the Olympics happy with or without a medal.
This time?
Yeah.
Before
Paris.
Yes.
So Dr. Amen and I prepped every scenario that could have happened. Alysha could go, she could break the world record. Alysha Newman could go, she could get gold, silver, or bronze. Alysha can go and not medal. And I think I was so prepped and so mentally strong going in there that any one of those scenarios that happened, I wasn't going to be upset about if I didn't execute my best self. And that's why I danced and I did my fake injury into the dance, was because I think I'm one of 2 of the girls out of the 19 girls in the final. We jumped our absolute best ever that day. The other girls, right. So it was like, how awesome is that?
Amazing.
Get the medal out of here. I'm my absolute best at the Olympic Games, and no one can say they can take that away from me. I showed up, I conquered, and if I got 4th or 5th, jumped in my absolute best, how can you be upset about that? You can't. So it all worked out that I did get a medal, but I think that that's what was amazing, and I'm so glad I had Dr. Amen in my corner going into the Olympics, because he has brain scanned Michael Phelps. He has talked to multiple of athletes. He knows that the Olympics is the worst case for depression, and it's such a bittersweet feeling because it's one of the most global and the best sporting event of all time.
Yeah, I think it's the most, for sure.
I think it definitely is. I don't want to be biased, but
it is. I mean, spade a spade. I think it is, for sure.
Yeah, so I think we're going to a competition, which it mind fucks me all the time. Sorry if you can bleep that out.
No, you can cuss. It's all good.
But it's like you're bringing 256 countries, I think, went to Paris together into one country. We're all at peace. There's no fights, there's no wars, there's no nothing. But then we're on a battlefield fighting against each other, who's the best. So it's this like weird realization that you're like, this is so cool that you can bring every single culture into one sporting event, but we're still competing, you know? And so it messes with your head a lot of the times, because you're like, you want to be the absolute best, but if you start comparing yourself to other athletes, I think that's where the rabbit hole goes. Or you internalize media, or you like take things offensively, especially social media going into this Olympics has been more heightened than ever.
I can imagine.
If you take it personally, it's going to be a very, very dark hole to get out of. And I think me going in already prepped for those situations really allowed me not to get into that post-Olympic depression.
And speaking of prep, how have you now prepared for what's coming after you're done with the pole?
Interesting. I think, like I said, I think I was already potentially realizing I potentially wasn't going to get a medal. So I already figured out some passions of mine, like post track and field. I definitely want to own a clinic that has hyperbaric chambers in it for Canadians. I also want to develop it to be a mobile. So say someone gets in a car accident and they're prescribed to be in a hyperbaric chamber every day. Our nurses come to your house, we set it up in your house, and then you rent it from me monthly. But there's also like so many other things. I'm raising money right now, building the first ever indoor high performance track and field center in Caledon. Wow. So we've raised quite a bit of money now. We got the mayor on board. They leased us the land for 99 years. So I don't think there's like one thing that I'm going to do. I feel like it's going to be like, I'm going to build a business, sell it, do something else, just keep tapping into so many things, because I want to learn. I wish I had this mentality when I was in high school or in elementary school, because I was that kid. Mom, I'm sick, I'm not going to school. But then when practice came around, I was like, oh, I'm good now. Let's go, So I didn't learn when I was little. And now I'm feeling like I'm gravitating. I feel like I have a sponge now, because my brain's ready to accept all this knowledge. And so I'm really excited moving forward. I just want to keep getting better and keep creating better environments for Canadians, because sometimes I feel like we're left up here.
I agree.
Or forgotten.
I agree. Especially athletes, and like Olympic athletes.
Yes.
Is there a lot of funding for your sport in Canada?
No.
Not at all.
No, we were saying, actually, a lot of people were asking us yesterday, like, if you didn't have social, you didn't work, you didn't do any of that, we get $21,000 a year from the government, which is, I think, $1,100 a month. And in a world that we live in today, there's just no way we can live off of even just paying rent, maybe even groceries on that,
Yeah, and a trainer on top of that as well.
Like everything, like my coaches are volunteer. Like they have full-time jobs my coach goes in at 4 a.m. so he can come coach me at 2. So these like sacrifices that these coaches do for amateur sport, which I still say there's nothing amateur about what we do. Yeah. It's about the pay. And it's really eye-opening that we talk about this. Vaughn and I talk about this all the time. Like Olympic athletes are beasts.
Yeah.
Like, they're freaking legendary.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
I know.
No, sorry, not because of me.
No,
but
no,
I'm
you
saying,
are though. It's legit. You train for 4 years to go
That-
compete for 2 weeks. Everyone loves
Yeah.
you, and then you're done, and then you train again for
Yeah.
4 years for
Yeah.
2 weeks. It's wild.
And
It
it's
really
like
is.
this vicious cycle. You just keep going, and you realize that these are the athletes that live and breathe sport, because we're not doing it for the fame, we're not doing it for the glory, we're not doing it for the money. We do it for the purpose of like representing a country, to show, hey, like, let's put Canada on the map.
Yeah.
And that's like the motivation. Like, you can't pay any sort of money for that type of passion. It's, you either got it or you don't, you know. I
agree. You have an array of like entrepreneurial ventures, and one of the avenues you've chosen is the fans, OnlyFans.
Yes. Are you on it?
Excuse me?
Are you on it?
No, I'm not.
Oh, see, now we got to cut
not.
the interview. I'm just kidding. You got to support it.
I mean, don't tell anybody else, but I might have a little account. You know,
Okay.
That's how I pay for this.
There you go.
I'm joking.
You should.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
you
very much.
should.
I appreciate that. I might reconsider my line of work.
Listen. It's opened so many doors for me, and I think people underestimate it. People just get rid of the stigma around it.
You've opened doors and poles, literally,
Yeah, there
figuratively
you go.
and literally.
Hell yeah.
So why'd you choose? I'm so curious. Why'd you choose the fans? And I think for an athlete to do that is so different, which is a big reason why I wanted to sit down and talk to you about it.
Yes, I love this question. People are nervous to ask me, but
no,
I'm
not
like,
me. I'm looking forward to this one.
Hell yeah. You're like, I was just warming up.
Legit.
Yeah, no, I'm excited that you brought it up, because it was something that, again, my entrepreneurial skills, I was like, how can I benefit off of a COVID Olympics?
Was it your idea to do it?
Yes,
okay.
Completely. I actually posted it on Instagram, and my agents at the time called me and were like, what are you doing? And I was like, what do you mean, what am I doing? This is exactly what I want to do. So for me, it was how do I get my fans to come to the Olympics with me? Because there's a COVID, there was no ticket sales, there was no nothing. And I was like, how can I share my experience and do a little vlog style getting paid while I'm there? There's a lot of downtime at the Olympics. A lot of people don't know that, especially when you're going to Olympics that are really far from Canada. You go 2 weeks before, you're there 2 weeks during, and then potentially 1 week after, just for the parties and all the fun stuff. Well, with the COVID Olympics, I said, perfect. People already sexualize me in sport, so I fit the brand of OnlyFans. And then second, I want to make money. Because going into the Olympics, there wasn't many sponsors around it, because no one could go.
Yeah.
So no one knew that in 2021.
And how many in pole vaulting to begin with?
I mean, there was how many girls or how many? Oh, like sponsors. Yeah, like hardly any, right? So once I launched it, it went wild, and it was so fun for me. I was able to connect with fans that truly were die-hard track and field fans. I was behind the scenes in the Olympic Village, what the rooms look like. I would live stream my workouts, and again, I'm not going to go online and say what I'm posting, because it's all about, well, you got to see. You got to go and you got to see what's on there.
And you got to pay me to do that.
And you got to pay if you're interested and you're curious. And that's, I always go back to Cardi B. I think she won like a Grammy. And I think she was like, I just want to say thank you to everyone. And I think she laughed, ha ha ha. Thank you for the haters too, because y'all still get me views and I make money from it. And it like resonated so well with me, because I was like, I just need people to be interested enough to sign up, and then actually maybe fall in love with what I was doing.
That's it. I'm signing up.
There you go.
OnlyFans coming in 2025. Yeah, I'm convinced. This is good. I like this.
So it was a no-brainer for me. Obviously, I had to navigate with a bunch of different people wondering what's going on and stuff. But again, I was prepped. I told my family, I said, this is what's going to happen. This is the stigma around it.
I was going to say the stigma.
My mom and dad, I laughed, actually leading into the Olympics. My mom was taking all my photos for it. So I would be in like the Canadian uniform, or like if we did a bathing suit photo or something like that, she was taking them all. She goes,
this
that's
is a family
great
fans
Hell
now. This
yeah.
is amazing.
There we go.
Yeah.
We should start that.
Well, I'm down. Family fans.
Why do I love that? And again, it was like no-brainer, because the people that I love the most, that I care for their opinion the most, is what mattered. And even my coaches were like, girl, go get your money. Like, whatever you need to do. Like, and I think it's come full circle now. That happened, not thinking, I honestly thought I was just going to do the 16 days. I thought it was just going to be like an every 4-year thing with the Olympics, but it went so well. And people are like, no, tell us more. We want to know about your nutrition. What about your like therapy? Anything that you do, we want to know. And it's kind of like a YouTube vlog style. And there's things that people ask me or people are curious about. And again, I'm no expert on nutrition or, you know, any, like people are asking me about like, hey, I tore my ankle. What should I do? All I say is, this is what I did for my ankle, you know, when people are trying to relate. And so it's been really cool because I've built a community now. It's been about 5 years on the platform.
You've been on OnlyFans for 5 years?
Yeah. So I launched in 2021. So this will be the 5th year. Yeah. And
interesting.
This fan base has been amazing. It's been incredible. And they're awesome people.
So you were like, there's obviously a stigma around it. Everyone would assume that you're fully nude and you're just on there skin out, you know, and is that the case?
Well, you got to sign up.
And has that money helped fund your career?
Everything. Yeah.
Really?
Everything. And it's not just that, but it's also gotten me more known in the media world because it draws so much attention to it. And actually I laugh because a lot of people were asking me like, hey, I want to start it, but I don't know. And I know a couple of my teammates are either on, you know, passes or a different platform because again, they're like, we can't handle the stigma around it. And I said, listen, you got to be able to wake up every day and live with yourself. So whatever that looks like needs to happen for you. And again, they would sign on to my account, and I actually had a couple friends that, you know, were trying to make money, so I would ask the fans, is like, are we good if we have a guest for the month? So we would have a guest come in on the month, and then we would make a deal, and we'd do it that way too if they didn't want to fully start a whole platform.
Has it hindered any potential deals, or has anyone said anything to you a bit outlandish about it?
Yeah, for sure.
Really?
I think people always are asking, like, we've given Nike the login. I know Rado Switzerland watches, they have the login. People are curious because, again, not just my brand's at stake, theirs as well, if they're representing me. But I will say it's pushed a lot of the cookie cutter, typical brands that want you to do exactly what they want you to do, and they don't allow you to be yourself.
Right.
So it kind of helped me out because I was never going to work well with those companies.
And you pushed all the shit out the way, and you got with the real brands that actually mess with you and who you are. Who
like love me for me.
Yeah.
Why do I want to work with a brand that doesn't really want me?
Right.
You know, and I always say that. I always like if a contract doesn't work, I'm like, why is there so much legal into this? Rip it up.
Yeah.
Like, you get paid, I get paid, and let's move on.
And those brands are going to exploit you and try to benefit and use your name to profit, and then mad at you for taking what you have and profiting from that as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's very sad.
Yep.
Sad world we live in.
It is. It's like, get that quick click.
Yeah.
So I gotta be media trained these days because I say everything.
That's good. We love that. We love that.
I gotta learn.
We love that. Please keep going. Be as open and honest as you'd like to be.
Yeah.
What other opportunities would you like to explore? I know you seem like like you said, you're someone who's open to learning. So I'm curious, what else would you love to do?
Yeah. So friend of mine, Vaughn Davis, is someone that...
Shout out to Vaughn Davis.
Yeah, we
I
love
that
Vaughn
guy,
Davis.
man. Shout out to Vaughn Davis, man. He's a gem.
He's amazing. I mean, I met him through the hotel industry. When I would go down to LA, they would comp for like social media, and then it turned into this amazing friendship and this sense of, we got to do better for athletes. Like, we got to be better. I'm pretty excited that we started Hyper Talent. It's an AI-driven management agency, and I want to help, and Vaughn and the team, Kelly and Claire, we all want to represent the best of the best athletes the way that they deserve. So why not better Vaughn? Vaughn was an athlete, I'm an athlete. What better way to represent athletes is being already an athlete? Do you know what I'm saying?
Of course.
So we're excited. We're doing the launch party actually tomorrow, Monday. It's going to be really exciting.
I'll see you there.
Yeah, I'll be one of the first athletes. And we're going to start bringing athletes on board leading into LA 2028. And more than just that, we're going to get artists. We're going to get all different industries are going to be in Hyper Talent. And what's so cool about us is we want unicorns. We want people that are the ultimate best and want to learn and have big hearts and are passionate in what they do. We want the best of the best, and we are going to treat these athletes, the best of the best. It's not about a quick paycheck. It's about how your heart beats for people around you. And that's how we're going to separate from everyone else. So I'm excited because I'm chief officer.
Another new title for you.
Yeah,
so it's another venture outside of what you got going on. You got a lot going on.
Yeah. Well, every day is a new day. Something to look forward to.
we talk about the like window of opportunity for an athlete.
Yeah.
And how much you get monetized or excuse me, how much you can monetize in a specific window.
Yeah.
It seems as though you are doing that and then some.
Yep.
You know, I don't think your identity as, you know, as you said, is just going to be tied to this sport. It looks like you have a plethora of different things going on, and you're going to continue to do that. What's your advice for someone else who's going to watch this and will be, you know, has ambitions to do what you're doing? Because, you know, as much as you're a great Olympian, you're obviously way more than just that. So.
Yeah, I would say, you know, that little voice you hear like in the back of your head.
Yes.
It's usually
the one that's telling me to do OnlyFans now.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
I would listen to it for
it's right
a
here.
year.
It's
yeah,
right
I'm
there.
telling you.
Yeah, it's right there.
Listen to that for a good 6 months. Whether it's something you want to venture out and do, whether it's something that you've always dreamt of, even a little kid, you had a goal of it. I think we underestimate and we don't even ever get to use. I think Dr. Newman was saying we use like 25% of our brain.
Yeah.
And like think about how much more we can be. We are all these
Limitless.
undercover.
You seen the movie Limitless?
Yes. Literally one of my favorites.
Love that movie.
And you are this inner superhero and you just need to find what releases it or activates it. And I think we get caught up in being comfortable. So I would challenge anybody going into 2025 is to do something that makes them uncomfortable. That would be my number one.
What are you going to do?
I gotta be better. I gotta be better at probably accepting love. I'm great at giving love, but I never know if it's good intentions when people come to give me love. So I'm opening my heart a little more in 2025.
I love
to receiving.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
No
That's
problem.
Cool.
I was like, do I say that?
Yeah.
I was like, it's kind of cheesy.
No, it's not. Not at all. That's not cheesy at all. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, what am I going to do in 2025?
Yeah, you got to tell me. What do you got?
I'm going to do this OnlyFans. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, no, seriously. What's the handle? No, you got to start it as Family Fans. There you go.
Yeah. I'll DM you later. I'll tell you.
Yeah, we can collab.
Something that I'm gonna put less pressure on myself.
Okay, I like
to
that.
figure everything out.
Yeah.
And just try and accept, like you said earlier. I'm just gonna accept what is, and my path is my path. The things that come my way are here for a reason, whether that's an injury or whatever the case is.
I love that.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna accept things.
Whatever you put into this magnet planet will always give it back.
There you go.
And I think people underestimate that. You just got to be ready for when it does come.
Yeah.
And it's not going to happen overnight. I think we got in quick to those quick Photoshop or quick looks or quick stuff
AI,
like that.
Especially things getting faster with AI for sure.
So being very present, I think, is very important.
For younger athletes that are looking to be, because I think for most athletes, a big, especially now.
Yeah.
Like finances is a big problem. Like basketball is becoming a rich sport, for example.
Yeah.
So whereas like AAU players, they can't play because of the cost. Unless you're super talented, it's hard to get in there. When you look at any sport, it's becoming way wealthier. It's becoming more wealthy. So what are some non-traditional ways that you would say to an athlete like, this is something that you can do that's in your control to help you brand yourself and help you stay into your sport? Because, you know, for example, like young women, they drop out, and I don't know the exact stats, but I do know that women are playing less and less sports, and that's a problem. You know, and like, you know, and we have a WNBA team coming here soon, which is going to be amazing. So it's like, how do we keep young kids in sports? And like, what's your advice for that? Yeah,
so I think the best thing about amateur sports is usually the sports don't cost a lot. But now with the world we're living in,
Everything does.
It costs a lot of money. So I would say, if you're just going to start a brand, obviously we talked about this, you need to be organically yourself. But I also have developed this budget Excel sheet that is absolutely.
I don't know why I'm laughing. I need that.
Like, it's amazing because every time I do my taxes every year, or I get an accountant to do it. They do it wrong, and it makes me angry. So I now do my own taxes because it makes me angry. So in this Excel sheet, it budget on what my expenses, what are my actual expenses to be at my ultimate best self monthly. As soon as you know that data, then you can figure out how much you need to make and what needs to happen. I say this all the time, and I think actually we've sat in a couple rooms with a couple billionaires over the last couple weeks.
Must be nice.
And it's not because they're billionaires, but it was what we learned from them. Was you get to a point in life and you're making so much money, it's like, how much money do you actually need to feel alive?
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of times it's not much.
Yeah.
Right? I think we underestimate that. And so I think we see it on social, glam here, glam that, all this fun stuff. But I really think once you can sit down with yourself and realize how much money that you need a year to be happy, then I think it's a lot less than you think. And that's what I did in 2023. Actually 2021 it started when OnlyFans came in, because I was like, how much am I going to devote to this platform, because I still want to go to Paris to try to medal. And you can't, once you redirect, you take away from other things. And so once I figured out how much I need yearly to be happy, it made my life a whole lot better, because as soon as I made that money, it was like, okay, we don't need no more deals, we don't need no that, let's tunnel vision into being an athlete.
Now I can just focus on my sport.
Yeah.
That's
so
really
I think getting down to the gritty, there's not one way to make money. There's not one way to support your style. Everyone's different. What you need every morning is going to be different from me, right? So finding out that data, learning that data is so important on like what internally makes you happy.
Not only are you an athlete, you're an accountant.
Yeah.
This is nuts.
Yeah, maybe I should do that for hyper talent
too. Why not?
For all the athletes. I gotta learn the U.S. market though. I only know the Canadian market.
Fair. Well, you can do mine.
Yeah, there you go. I got you.
One of the things I'm fascinated by is like training schedules.
Yeah.
Because I know mine. You know, and like what mine used to be.
Yeah.
And that's one of that's like. Your schedule is your life.
Yes.
Everything you do, diet, training. So what's yours like currently?
Yeah.
And what are you going to do at that time when you're no longer an athlete?
I know. I'm nervous for that, because I feel like I'd be one of those people that would never work out again for like 3 days. And then 3 days would happen and be like, Coach, what are you doing?
Yeah, I got to get back in the gym.
Yeah. No. So right now I'm not actually pole vaulting. I don't start pole vaulting until December. We call it a base training season. So I'm running, hill workouts, stair workouts, plyometrics, weights, gymnastics, anything you could possibly do now, the dangerous stuff now, so that you're not injured into the summer.
How many days a week do you do that?
So usually I'm 5 days on, but I've been getting to day 3 and then needing a day 4 off. Okay. And then we revamp, we just move a day over.
How many hours a day do you spend?
On the actual track is about right now 2.5 to 3 hours. Straight, yeah. I'll eat like my protein bar while I'm working out.
For sure.
But yeah, I love being out there. I'm actually in Miami right now till the 30th.
Okay. So
I'm training at the university where I went to school. Mm-hmm. And it's been amazing. Like I'll go out and I'll do like a running workout with some of the sprinters. Like it's like fun. This is the fun base, like hard workouts that you need people around to laugh and giggle, because you're like, why am I here?
Yeah.
You're like, why am I doing this again? I'm training and I lift 3 times a week. I plyometrics twice. I'm running every single day, and they're different lengths. Sometimes it's a 30-minute run. Sometimes it's like a minute on, a minute off, like sprinting workouts. So it's pretty cool schedule. And then it's like chiro once a week, massage once a week. I have my sports psych every bi-weekly right now, because I'm not really competing. And then lastly, I think like leisure. Like people underestimate like downtime leisure. So I have my dog with me in Florida. So we go to the dog park, we go to the beach, we go and do things to get your mind off of track. I think that's so important for all athletes.
That's also training too.
It's huge. People don't understand it. And like people that sit there and like want to come home and like keep reminiscing on these things, it's like you're wasting all that energy. Like relax, like get out of that fight or flight,
Right. You're obviously a pioneer in your sport. What type of legacy do you want to leave behind, and how are you inspiring other people to go ahead and get into pole vaulting?
Well, I think I think because I'm the first female to ever bring home an Olympic medal for the women's pole vault in Canada.
No big deal.
I think I think now it's opened up this door for women and pole vaulters to be like, wait, I can do it too. And I think that was what took me maybe so long, because I was like, wait, no Canadian woman has ever done it. So like, what's this look like? You know, you couldn't bounce ideas off with anyone. And so now that I've done it, I'm really excited. My coach's daughter, she's 15 years old, and she just missed my record when I was 14 or 15. And I jumped 375 and she jumped 370 this year. So she went for my record. And so I could see her being the next generation. And then we have another girl from London. Her name's Peyton. And she just signed at the University of Miami last week. So you can kind of see these women now are coming up naturally with just me sharing. I think sharing and giving experience, and I have to also be careful because you don't want to share too much to give your competitors an edge on you. But when I'm done and retired, I mean, I'll have my book and I'll put it all in there. And so I think that is going to be a big thing for me, is actually kind of having an open line between these women that they can call me, they can text me, they can, whatever they need or advice on is going to be really important for me to give back that way. Secondly, I think this track and field facility, I still don't understand how Canada doesn't have a high performance track and field facility in Canada.
I don't understand either. We
have a hub, which is York University, but you're partnered with York, the city, and then obviously the university, and same as U of T. Well, 2 weeks before the Olympics, I got kicked out of York University because there was an event happening. And again, I understand. They paid, they rented it. That's what they needed for that day. But why don't we have a home base?
Because we don't prioritize sports the same way the States does.
Exactly. And you just answered my question. What am I going to do? I'm going to be the person that's going to prioritize sports, track and field. That's going to be me. And because I believe that athletes deserve a bare minimum of a place to go to let it out. Track, a lot of times for athletes, and my teammates have said, they don't love track, but it's their outlet. Like, that's how they feel purpose. And it's like, that's such a beautiful thing to know that there could be a home base where you're like, you know, you finish university, you're maybe not pro yet, but you just need a better mentor. I'm going to create that facility that's paying full-time coaches that you can come in. We're going to be in Caledon. It's going to be a lot more affordable for housing. And I want to work with the city that these athletes come in, they rent 6 months of the year, and they get the best training at this high-performance center. And I think once we see that, we're going to see more and more athletes. And then the story will just keep going for itself.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So commendable.
I'm just motivated.
I can see that. When your hand was like this, I was like, let me not interrupt.
Goes off.
Yeah, I could. I want to read this correctly because I was looking up pole vaulting.
You're going to come try it. That should be our next episode.
Who come try what?
You're going to try vault, right?
No, me.
Yes,
no. I am not. I seen the pole and the bending, my body going this way. No, I'm good. No. I'll watch you though.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah, we'll do that.
It requires a mix of precision, fearlessness, and adaptability.
Yeah.
How are in order to do the pole vaulting?
Yeah.
Right? Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot more it goes in, but those words, great.
How do you live that in your everyday life?
Oh, okay. Wait, repeat the words again. Now I have to think about
Precision, fearlessness, definitely fearlessness, and I'm scared. I would not do it. And my favorite word, adaptability.
Adaptability. Okay, so adaptability in my everyday life. I mean, I feel like things come to me, and I adapt. And I don't react until those 12 things have gone wrong. Fearlessness. I think vaulting, training. Doing things you don't want to do, that is a part of fearness because you're not maybe confident in that aspect of your life. So I would say like something that I'm not, like, for example, when I decided to take up taxes, I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, what? I'm just inputting numbers in this Excel sheet and this is what it makes sense to me. And then I started doing it, and then I would call the CRA. They probably hate me because I'd be like, I'm asking questions like every 2 weeks, sitting on the phone with them for hours. And you learn, but once you learn, the fear starts going away. And the last one was
precision.
See, that's a hard word because I feel like when you're too precise and too fixated on something, more things go wrong. I think precision and adaptability kind of counter blow up. you know, because I feel like not enough of us go on autopilot and not enough of us embrace an imperfection. I think we're always trying to like be that like Vogue magazine perfection. And I think it actually destroys a lot of our inner child. And so I don't really think I use much of precision anymore, because I was a perfectionist in 2016, 2021, and it very much did not help me.
And you didn't get the outcome.
I did not.
And then you let go of that, and look what happened.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I hope that answered.
It did. It definitely did.
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, your first pole vaulting experience, that must have been pretty scary to do.
I think because, I mean, you know gymnastics. You've seen Simone Biles and Ellie Black compete.
I've seen them on TV for
like, sure. Gymnastics to me is one of the hardest sports of all time. Like, why? I still think. The accuracy and the precision, like how you're saying, of like not messing up, and the body awareness while these women are flipping through the air is so critical, and at any point anything could happen. So we've seen. So I think going from doing that on 4 events to only focusing on one event, you know, floor, beam, vault, and bars, you had all these like such high precision, perfection, skill set events to not mess up in. So pole vault, you go, and then you have to be pointing your toes, straight legs in gymnastics. But then you go pole vault, and no one cares how you clear that bar. As long as you clear it. So I think for me, when I went from gymnastics, and that's where that perfectionism came from gymnastics, I brought it in, and it didn't work, right? So now I feel like when I first started it, I wasn't scared. I was curious on how it worked. Like, how does it work, me putting velocity into a pole, gonna recoil and give me something on the top? And that was what was really cool for me. I think I went in as a student and learning, not so much is my toes pointed and my legs straight, how does it look? But I'm very proud and honored to say that everybody through the years have said that I'm like textbook. And I think it came from gymnastics. I grew up, I mean, I don't know if you know this, but women's pole vault didn't come to the Olympics until 2000. Did not know that. The first ever was 2000. So it's only been around for 5 Olympics now. That's it. And so, or that's more. I didn't do my math right. It's 6 or 7 Olympics. So it's cool to know that we are so young in the realm of how long the Olympics has been around. And I grew up watching the men jump. That's how I learned. So I laugh because I'm like, I can jump higher, because based on the men, they jump a meter higher than us. So it's been really, really cool transition. I don't think it was scary for me. It was more like, well, if a male can do it, because that's all we know, then we can do it too. You know? So that's kind of how the mind kind of shift into pole vault.
It's amazing, man. So cool. I learned so much.
There you go.
So I've obviously listened to you, and this just came to me, but what's your why for doing all the things you do? Olympian, your businesses, like what's the motivation behind all of that?
Well, I always, like, you say why, but like, why not live? You know, like, I think people underestimate like actually just living, like what fuels them, what gets them excited, what gets them out of bed, what challenges them, what thrills them, what's, you know, I'm so curious on feeling all these emotions, and I want to know how I can be better, or what else I can be great in. You know, I think we limit ourselves. I mean, I also saw there was a study that people tend to do about 5 to 6 careers in their lifetime. But like, if you think about it, a lot of people are like, no, I only have had this job.
1, 2, maybe.
But you've moved positions in that company. Those are different roles. So I think it's really interesting that I think we limit ourselves on sticking in one industry and not trying to see what else you're great at. So that would be my why, is like, okay, I know at this point in my life, I'm the 3rd best in the world on the planet at something. What's next? What else can I be great at, or one of the best of all time in? And without me trying and failing, you'll never know. And that's kind of where I'm at.
If you could be the best in anything else, what would you be? What would you be?
An actress.
Really?
I'd love to be in like a Marvel or like a superhero movie.
And what would be your superpower?
Maybe time travel. No, I don't know. Time travel, or like, I mean, I already fly, so kind of could just use that.
Dope.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We like to play a game at the end of
Oh
each
gosh,
episode.
I love games.
Me too. Yeah. It's this one. You can answer any of the questions
Yeah.
or sentences with one word.
Okay.
Or
Oh, that's hard for me.
yeah, one word or one sentence.
Okay.
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 So first one.
Yeah.
You complete the sentence for me.
Okay.
I am so much more than an athlete because I.
This is hard.
I know.
Because I love life.
When people hear the name Alysha Newman, what do you want them to think?
Limitless.
I like that. You have set the bar high, and in this case, the pole.
Yeah.
What's one thing that you have not done that you're going to do, and advice for those who want to follow you?
I would love to continue to embrace the word courage with everything I do.
Okay. And for someone else who's gonna
Oh, sorry. And for someone else who is going to do something.
who's gonna see this?
Oh, I think they need to learn the word courage and use it as a motivation.
Okay. Well, listen, I was elated to do this.
I'm so excited that I was
literally honored to be sitting next to you and you know and to conduct this. I think your story is amazing.
Thank
I think
you.
the things you've done are phenomenal, and anyone who's an athlete who's going to go through some sort of transition, which we all have,
Yeah.
they have a plethora of knowledge to watch and listen to today. So I can't wait
Yes.
to release this.
Yeah.
I think you're amazing, and you're going to do really big things, and the people that you're around are
Thank you.
phenomenal as well. I want to give a big shout out to Vaughn for
Yes.
helping make this happen, and Kelly
Legend.
for
Yes.
letting me annoy her through text and email.
Yes.
So
No, it's
we're
great.
very honored to have you,
Yeah.
and this is amazing. So
Cool.
thank you so much.
And thank you for giving me a platform to say my story
You
on.
deserve
I
it.
really appreciate
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
I really hope we captured it, or
Yeah.
best
I
we
think
could.
we did. We talked about a lot.
Good. Yeah, that was that was the idea.
Yeah. Awesome.
And that's
Yay!
it. Hey, if you like this episode, I'm sure you'll like the other ones. Please drop a comment and tell us which episode's your favorite, or what value you took from the episode that you just watched. Until next time.